Smithing in Bannerlord is the most lucrative way to make money. In order to smith effectively though, you need good perks. So that's why I've created this video that is going to show you the best path to becoming the most ultimate smith in Bannerlord. Don't forget to give that like and subscribe button a cheeky tickle, and let's get into it. So to start off, we will need attribute points in endurance. To get these, I choose these options on the character creation screen. First, we choose born into a family of smiths. Then we choose skill with horses. After that, it's gathered herbs in the wild. Then rode with scouts. And finally, a famous escapade in town. That lets us start off with 7 endurance. Then when I spawn in, I pump 1 more attribute point into endurance and focus points in athletics and smithing. Inside the smithing and athletics tree, there is a perk that gives 1 endurance attribute point, which would take us up to the maximum attribute points of 10. Now for the perks you will need and what they do. At level 25 we have efficient charcoal maker or efficient iron maker. Charcoal maker will increase the amount of charcoal you can refine, and iron maker will increase the amount of iron you can refine. In our case, we will choose charcoal maker, as it is the one that comes in the handiest. At level 50, we have curious smelter or steel maker. Both of these perks are really useful. Curious smelter increases the part unlock chance when smelting weapons, and steel maker allows you to refine iron into steel. I would advise that you take curious smelter and have your smithing companions take the steel maker perk. At level 75, we have curious smith and steel maker 2. As before, both of these perks are super helpful. Curious Smith will increase the part unlock chance when crafting, and Steelmaker 2 will allow you to refine steel into fine steel. Like before, I would advise that you take the Curious Smith and your companions take Steelmaker 2. At level 100 we have Experienced Smith and Steelmaker 3. Experienced Smith will increase the chance of you crafting a fine weapon and also increases relations with notables when completing crafting orders. Steelmaker 3 will allow you to refine steel into Thamaskene steel, which is the best metal in the game and also the only way to get it. And it will also increase relations with lords and ladies when completing crafting orders. Both perks are very good, and I would advise you take Experienced Smith and your companions take Steelmaker 3. At level 125 we have Practical Refiner and Practical Smelter. Practical Refiner will reduce stamina needed to refine, and Practical Smelter will reduce stamina needed to smelt. Both are good, and it's entirely up to you which one you pick, but I like going with Practical Refiner as it saves me a lot of time refining wood into charcoal. At level 150 we have Controlled Smith and Vigorous Smith. Controlled Smith will give you 1 control attribute point, and Vigorous Smith will give you 1 vigor attribute point. Again, this choice is entirely up to you. Level 175 we have Artisan Smith and Practical Smith. Artisan Smith will halve the trade penalty for selling smith weapons, basically allowing you to sell them for more, and Practical Smith will halve the stamina spent when doing any smithing action. Both are nice to have. If you're doing smithing for money, I would highly recommend Artisan Smith as it gives a huge increase to the selling price of a weapon, but if you hate running out of smithing energy, then take Practical Smith. At level 200 we have Master Smith. This will increase the chance of you crafting a masterwork weapon. At level 225 we have Enduring Smith and Fencer Smith. Enduring Smith will give you 1 attribute point into endurance, and Fencer Smith will give you a focus point into one-handed and two-handed. I would highly recommend Enduring Smith as the higher your endurance attribute is, the higher your smithing skill can be. Also, don't forget to grab this perk in the athletics tree that does the same thing. At level 250 we have Sharpened Edge and Sharpened Tip. Sharpened Edge will increase swing damage of crafted weapons, and Sharpened Tip will increase the thrust damage of crafted weapons. This choice depends on what weapon you want to use for your character. If it is a swing weapon, then go for swing damage. If it's a thrust, then go for thrust. And at level 275 we have Legendary Smith. This will increase the chance of you crafting a legendary weapon, and increases the chance by 1% more for every 5 skill points above 275 in smithing. This one is basically a no-brainer and can help you make the most powerful weapons in Calradia. But what can you do with these powerful weapons? Well, you could take a thief. But what happens when you take a thief and it's broken with low loyalty and everything else? Well, watch this video here and I'll show you how to fix your broken thief.